Diplomats' Archives – Hidden Stories. This is the 15th story. About 111 years ago, there was a Korean man who made his way to Mongolia from Korea while passing through Nanjing, China. His name was Lee Tae-jun. He was a doctor and an independence activist. And today, we're going to talk about him.
My name is Sukpol Suki. I'm ambassador of Mongolia to the Republic of Korea. Most Mongolians, I think, now very familiar with the Lee Tae-jun, doctor. He established a medical center. In that time, probably that was the first foreign medical facility to help for our Mongolians. So he really helped and he gained the trust from the Mongolian people to treat their diseases.
That's right. Just as the Mongolian ambassador explained a moment ago, Lee Tae-jun moved to Mongolia around 1914 and opened a hospital there called Dongi-Uiguk. Long before Korea and Mongolia officially established diplomatic relations in 1990, there was Lee Tae-jun, a man who played a key role in connecting the two countries. But how did Lee Tae-jun end up opening a hospital in Mongolia all the way back then? Let's now take a closer look at the life of Lee Tae-jun. Lee Tae-jun was born on November 21, 1883 in Haman, Gyeongsangnam-do Province. Growing up, he studied at a local village school called Docheonje. Then, in 1907, at the age of 24, he moved to Seoul. But what prompted Lee Tae-jun to move to Seoul in the first place? To find out more, we spoke with an expert who has spent years studying Lee Tae-jun's life in depth.
독립운동, 독립운동 중에서 주로 대륙 쪽에 러시아나 중국 만주 지역 또는 상해 지역, 그다음에 저 몽골 지역 이쪽에 주로 대륙 쪽에서 벌어졌던 독립운동 관련 연구를 했고 이제 최근에 이제 그쪽에 관련 책을 쓰고 논문을 쓰고 썼습니다. 그동안에.
Professor Pan Byung-ryul first learned about Lee Tae-jun in the early 1990s while studying in the US. In 1998, he published a paper titled Severance and the Independence Movement, becoming the first to shed light on Lee Tae-jun's life and legacy.
자료는 없는데 이제 대부분 이제 그 후손들 얘기라든가 이제 거기 동네에 있던 분들 얘기를 들어보면은 그 지역에 이제 선교사 아마 그 호주, 오스트레일리아 쪽에 선교사들 같아요. 왜냐면 지역을 그 한반도의 지역을 서양의 선교사들이 지역을 나눠서 이제 선교를 했거든요. 그러니까 아마 오스트레일리아 쪽에 이제 선교사들 같은데 그분들의 영향을 받아가지고 세계의 정세에 따라가고 변화에 적응하기 위해서는 서울 가서 공부를 해야 된다. 특히 그 서양 쪽의 그 학문이나 과학기술 같은 걸 배워야 되지 않겠냐는 그런 생각으로 이제 추천했던 것 같아요.
After moving to Seoul, Lee Tae-jun worked at a place called the Kim Brothers Store. The store was run by two brothers named Kim Pil-sun and Kim Yoon-ho. Among them, Kim Pil-sun would later have a significant impact on Lee Tae-jun's life. Kim Pil-sun, who graduated as a member of the first class of graduates from Severance Medical College in 1908, was one of Korea's first licensed doctors. Also, he was a member of the secret Korean independence activist organization Shinminhwae, or New People's Association. After Japan annexed Korea in 1910, he moved to China and actively helped establish a foundation for the independence movement. To gain a deeper understanding of the relationship between Kim Pil-sun and Lee Tae-jun, we decided to meet with another expert.
저는 연세대학교 의과대학에서 교수 생활을 하다가 지금 은퇴를 하고 개건 교수로 활동하고 있습니다.
Yonsei University College of Medicine is also the successor to Severance Medical College, where Lee Tae-jun graduated from. And Professor Park Kyung-woo has been conducting ongoing research on the history of Western medicine and medical missions in Korea, and Korea's first licensed doctors, including Kim Pil-sun and Lee Tae-jun.
이 김영재상에는 대외적으로는 그저 인삼이나 뭐 이런 걸 이제 거래한다고 써 있지만 실제로는 2층 건물로 2층에는 저녁 때가 되면 도산 안창호 등 우국지사가 모여서 회합하던 장소였습니다. 그래서 본인이 이제 낮에는 상회의를 보겠지만 저녁 때가 되면 당시 유명한 지식인들, 우국지사들이 모여서 긴밀히 논의하는 걸 뭐 왔다 갔다 들었을 수가 있겠죠. 김필 선생하고도 얘기를 했을 거고, 그래서 막연하게 나라의 독립 뭐 이런 거에 대한 관심을 가졌을 것으로 추정을 할 수가 있고.
In 1907, while Lee Tae-jun was working at the Kim Brothers store, the army of the Korean Empire was forcibly disarmed and disbanded by Imperial Japan. As a result, a violent clash broke out between the Korean army and Japanese military guards on the road in front of Severance Hospital near what is now Sungnae-mun Gate. The exact location is unknown, but Kim's store was also located somewhere in this area at the time.
많은 한국인 병사들이 일본인에 의한 무장해제에 반대하면서 서소문에 있는 그 병영과 그다음에 일본군 사이에 총격전이 벌어졌습니다. 그래서 세브란스 병원에서는 이 소식을 전해 듣고 에비슨 선생 이하 아직 졸업하지 않은 김필순 등 의학생들이 총격전이 벌어지는 가운데 부상당한 한국인 병사들을 치러 날랐습니다. 당연히 주변에 있던 젊은 한국인들도 나섰습니다. 이태준 선생님도 당연히 참여했으리라 추정할 수 있겠습니다.
It's likely that Lee Tae-jun witnessed the brutal scenes of Korean soldiers being killed and wounded at that time. We can assume that while helping transport and treat these soldiers at the hospital, he made up his mind to become a doctor. In 1907, Lee Tae-jun enrolled in Severance Medical College. While still a student in 1910, he joined a secret youth organization called 청년 하구회, or the Youth Friends Association, at the urging of An Chang-ho, one of Korea's leading independence activists. From a letter Lee Tae-jun sent to An Chang-ho in 1912, we can infer that Lee was deeply influenced by him.
이태준 선생님이 당시에 구국운동에 관여를 했었단 말이에요. 직접적으로 청년 하구회라고 하는 그 시민회의 자매단체가 있어요. 시민회는 좀 비밀, 좀 뭐랄까 지하단체라 조직이라고 볼 수 있고, 이제 청년 하구회는 좀 청년들이 주로 회원이 이제 공개 합법적인 단체였죠. 그러니까 거기에 회원이 있었어요. 안창호 선생님 영향을 받아가지고. 그러니까 11년 졸업할 무렵에 우리가 잘 아는 그 백오인 사건, 그러니까 시민회의 그 회원들을 일본이 이제 앞으로의 어떤 그 한국 통치를 위한 어떤 장애물들을 제거하기 위한 여러 가지 작업 중에서 이제 소위 좀 반일적인 의식을 갖고 있는 시민의 사람들을 조직을 타파하기 위해서 파괴하기 위해서 이제 하니까 그 이태준 선생님은 당연히 거기에 이제 일종의 대상이 된 거죠.
the 105-man incident. In 1911, the Japanese colonial authorities falsely accused Korean independence activists of plotting to assassinate the Governor-General of Korea, Terauchi Masatake. As a result, a large number of activists and associated figures were arrested and imprisoned. A total of 105 individuals were sentenced to prison. Outraged by the incident, Lee Tae-jun decided to go into exile with Kim Pil-sun. Kim Pil-sun left Korea first and headed to West Jiandao, while Lee Tae-jun, who left shortly afterward, made his way to Nanjing, China. At the time, China was in the midst of great upheaval. The 1911 revolution, which broke out in October that year, brought an end to over 2,000 years of imperial rule and led to the founding of a new nation, the Republic of China.
중국에 당시 신해혁명이 전개되고 있었단 말이에요. 신해혁명. 그러니까 이제 신해혁명 과정에 의사로서 거기에 이제 참여를 해가지고 혁명 세력들을 이제 도와주고 그러면서 나중에 우리 한국이 중국의 도움, 혁명 이후에 중국의 도움을 받을 경우에 이제 도움을 받을 수 있는 그 위해서는 우리가 거기에 중국 혁명에 이제 참여를 해야 된다고 하는 그런 생각을 가지고 김필순이랑 같이 망명을 하기로 했던 건데 김필순이 먼저 가고 그 다음에 갔죠. 그래서 중국은 남용으로 이제 이태준이 간 거죠.
In 1910, just before the 1911 revolution in China, Japan annexed Korea and officially took control of Korea. Against this backdrop, the 1911 revolution that erupted the following year had a profound impact on Korean independence activists of the time. Upon arriving in Nanjing, Lee Tae-jun found work as a doctor at a Christian hospital. By mid-1912, records show that he began forming connections with figures from Chinese revolutionary parties, and during this time, he also met several Korean students studying abroad. Then, in 1914, Lee Tae-jun left Nanjing and made his way to Nisle-Hure, modern-day Ulaanbaatar, the capital of Mongolia. But what made Lee Tae-jun decide to go to Mongolia?
몽골 가게 된 거는 이제 그 김규식이라고 하는 분, 나중에 이제 김일성 정부의 이제 그 예무총장도 하던 분인데 그 김규식 선생의 영향으로 이제 몽골에다가 군관학교를 세우려고 했었죠. 군관학교. 장기적으로 일본을 대상으로 한 일본과의 어떤 그 무장 투쟁을 하기 위한 독립전쟁의 어떤 그 장교를 양성하기 위한 군관학교를 그 몽골의 예몽골이죠. 거기에 설립을 해가지고 이제 장교를 양성해서 그 장교들이 앞으로 있을 일본과의 어떤 독립전쟁에서 이제 그 군대를 지휘할 수 있는 그걸 전망을 갖고 이제 몽골까지 간 건데.
The person Professor Pan just mentioned, Kim Gyu-sik, was a prominent Korean independence activist. He was dispatched as Korea's representative to the Paris Peace Conference in 1919. Although he was ultimately unable to attend the conference itself, he is well known for carrying out diplomatic efforts in Paris to advocate for Korean independence. In 1913, Kim Gyu-sik went into exile in Shanghai, China, fleeing Japanese oppression. Then, in 1914, he traveled on to Mongolia. At the time, he saw Mongolia as a new base for the independence movement and planned to establish a secret military academy there to train independence fighters. Lee Tae-jun accompanied him to Mongolia for this effort. Then, what was the situation in Mongolia like at the time?
He has entered into Mongolia in 1914 That time was exactly the moment our people have restored our independence from Manchu Empire, which declared our independence from Manchu Empire in 1911. And also we have announced our Bogd Khan, our king, proclaimed back to the seat. So probably I think that time Korea and Mongolia also struggled to find out their independence. So I think with these connections, most Mongolian and Korean very interested on how these two occasions happened in different countries, but connecting each other.
In 1914, when Lee Tae-jun arrived in Mongolia, it's possible that a strong sense of solidarity between the Mongolians who had just declared independence from China and Koreans still struggling against Japanese colonial rule may have formed. However, Kim Kyu-sik and Lee Tae-jun's dream of establishing a military academy in Mongolia never came to fruition. The funds that were supposed to arrive from Korea never came. Although he was unable to achieve his original goal of establishing a military academy, Lee Tae-jun went on to plant the first seeds of friendship between Korea and Mongolia. In 1914, in Nisle-Khuret, now Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, he opened a hospital called Dongi Uiguk, which means Hospital of Comrades Sharing the Same Will.
Because at that time we did not have any medical treatments, how to treat our diseases for our people. And he really helped for that. Even he gained the trust from our Bogd Khan. And he also was personal physician for himself to treat him.
As the ambassador just mentioned, Lee Tae-jun not only treated and cared for many Mongolian patients through his hospital, but also earned the deep trust of the Mongolian royal family, eventually becoming the personal physician to the Bogd Khan, the spiritual leader and theocratic ruler of Mongolia.
당시 몽골 사람들의 풍속에 의해서 문화병이 유행했습니다. 약만 있으면 치료할 수 있는 일종의 전염병인데 이태원 선생이 그런 약을 치료할 수 있는 치료약을 갖고 가서 많이 치료도 하고, 두 번째는 의사들이 별로 없습니다. 서양식 의학교육기관은 당연히 없었을 뿐더러 있어도 러시아나 중국 의사들이 몇 명 있었다고 그러는데,
In recognition of his contributions, the Mongolian Bogd Khan awarded Lee Tae-jun a national medal in July 1919.
That was really rare because, as you might know, that in that time not that much foreigners have visited to my country during that time. Of course, we have received a number of Russian the people and from America, from Japan, but most of them been in trade purposes, not the medical. So, but Dr. Lee Tae-jun, really his purpose was, of course, his first purpose might be different, but his final purpose was to treat our people. So that was the really different purpose than others. So that's why he gained this award, which no one been granted in that time.
The Dongi Uiguk Hospital that Lee Tae-jun ran in Mongolia served not only as a medical facility for Mongolian patients, but also as a base for Korea's independence movement.
지역의 좀 식권자들과의 어떤 관계를 설정하는 데 있어서 그 인간관계를 형성하는 데 있어서 상당히 중요한 그 역할을 하죠. 병원이라는 것이. 그래서 심지어는 이제 몽골에서는 국왕의 이제 어휘로까지 이제 될 수 있었고, 그다음에 거기에 주둔하고 있었던 중국군의 어떤 그 지휘관들, 군의 실력자들의 어떤 일종의 주치 정도로 활동하면서 이제 사실 그런 그 뭐 이태준 선생이 그 병원이라고 하니 단순한 그 의료 행위를 하는 그런 것이 아니라 그 지역에 일종의 이제 안전한 어떤 그런 그 공간이라고 할 수 있을까요? 독립운동가들이 이제 그 활용할 수 있는 어떤 그 거점으로서 할 수 있는 그런 역할을 한 거지, 병원 자체가.
Lee Tae-jun also sent financial aid to the Provisional Government of the Republic of Korea in Shanghai and to other independence fighters. In addition, he secretly served as a liaison for the Korean Socialist Party, the first Korean socialist political party. In 1920, Lee Tae-jun became deeply involved in transporting 2 million rubles worth of gold bars promised by Lenin as support for the Korean Provisional Government. In July 1920, at the Second World Congress of the Communist International held in Moscow, Lenin emphasized the importance of supporting the liberation struggles of oppressed and colonized nations. As part of this initiative, financial aid was pledged to the Korean Provisional Government. At the time, the gold bars provided by Lenin were worth an enormous sum, equivalent to $200 million today. The delegation from the Korean Socialist Party, having received an initial installment of 400,000 rubles worth of gold bars from Lenin in Moscow, decided to divide the money into 3 separate shipments to prevent the risk of losing the entire sum at once. Of the 400,000 rubles, 60,000 were used in Moscow for diplomatic activities with the Soviet government. 120,000 rubles were carried by Kim Dip, one of the delegates who planned to travel through Mongolia to reach Shanghai. The remaining 220,000 rubles were to be transported via Mansouli on a separate route to Shanghai. The 120,000 rubles in gold bars that Kim Dip transported safely arrived in Mongolia. From there, the shipment was split into 2. Kim Dip would carry 80,000 rubles worth of gold, and Lee Tae-jun would deliver the remaining 40,000 rubles to Shanghai. With Lee Tae-jun's assistance, the 80,000 rubles worth of gold entrusted to Kim Dip was successfully transported to Shanghai in the winter of 1920. Then what happened to the 40,000 rubles worth of gold that Lee Tae-jun was supposed to transport? While Lee Tae-jun was safeguarding the gold he was meant to transport, in March 1921, the city of Nizhly-Hure was occupied by the White Army of Russia. In 1921, Russia was in the midst of civil war. Roman von Ungern-Sternberg was one of the commanders of the White Army. As they fought against the Red Army, the White forces pushed into Manchuria and Mongolia to strengthen their strategic positions. Roman von Ungern-Sternberg was the White Army commander who entered Mongolia during this campaign. Even amidst the chaos, Lee Tae-jun managed to safeguard the gold bars. And in February 1921, he set out for Beijing carrying the gold, but was detained along the way and sent back to Nizhly-Hure. Afterward, he was placed under house arrest. Later, Lee Tae-jun was assassinated.
Late at night, Sipailov arrived at Dr. Lee's house, accompanied by his loyal executioners. Sipailov began speaking with the doctor, and at that moment, one of the executioners threw a rope around the unfortunate doctor's neck from behind. Sipailov pulled the rope tight with his hand. The doctor murmured as if praying, then suddenly became lifeless.
피살 당했을 때 그 시체가 이제 그 백군에 의해서 버려졌잖아요. 그 저기 벌판에다가 그거를 그 버려진 시체를 몽골 사람들이 시체를 수습을 해가지고 안전하게 그 묘지를 조성하고, 그러니까 그걸 보게 되면은 그 몽골의 그 민중들이 이태준 선생을 얼마만큼 소중하게 생각하고 존경하고 따랐는가. 그분의 어떤 의술을 통해서 그 인류의 몽골 사람들에게 그런 의술을 베푼 그것을 높이 평가했는가를 우리가 이제 짐작을 할 수가 있는 거죠.
Mongolians who respected Itejun gathered his remains and are said to have created a grave for him around the Zaisan Hill area in Ulaanbaatar. The tomb you see now is a memorial grave for Itejun, as his actual remains have yet to be found. It is only presumed that his remains lie buried somewhere beneath this hill. Although it's been over 100 years since Itejun passed away, many Mongolians still remember him to this day.
He's quite famous now because the capital city ordered to have a special garden in honor of his dedication to our people. And even nowadays, during the visit of Speaker of National Assembly of the Republic of Korea just recently, and he paid a visit to this garden.
As the ambassador just mentioned, there is a space in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, dedicated to commemorating Itejun. Located beneath the Zaisan Memorial, the Itejun Memorial Park opened in 2001. Inside the park, you can also find the Itejun Memorial Hall. Our team decided to speak with a special guest via video call to learn more about the Memorial Park and Hall in Ulaanbaatar.
예, 안녕하십니까. 주몽골 대한민국 대사 최진원입니다. 반갑습니다.
Ambassador Choi Jin-won has been serving as South Korea's ambassador to Mongolia since April 2024. Even during his time as a counselor, he previously worked in Mongolia.
이태준 기념공원은 몽골 정부의 토지 제공과 연세의료원의 재정 지원 등으로 해서 2001년도 몽골 울란바토르시에 조성되었습니다. 2010년 제가 있었을 때인데요. 공원 내에 소규모 목조 건물 형태의 이태준 기념관이 설치된 바 있습니다. 하지만 이제 전시 공간 부족 문제를 해결하고 보다 많은 관광객을 수용하기 위해서 국가본부 예산 지원을 통해서 이번에 새롭게 기념관이 신축되게 되었습니다. 몽골을 방문하시고 몽골에 체류하시는 많은 우리 국민들께서 한국 국민으로서의 자부심을 더 많이 느끼시고 또 이태준 선생을 더 많이 기억할 수 있도록 하기 위해서 저희 대사관은 이태준 기념관의 체계적인 운영과 관리에 만전을 기하도록 하겠습니다.
As Ambassador Choi just mentioned, the Itejun Memorial Hall in Ulaanbaatar is preparing for a major transformation. The former small hall has been demolished, and a new hall with one basement level and 2 stories above ground is being built. The new hall is set to open in September this year.
저희가 이태준 선생의 업적을 설명을 하면서 몽골 국민들 사이에서 예전부터 이러한 분이 한국과 몽골을 이어주는 분이다라고 하는 분을 많이 알릴 예정이고요. 또 다른 많은 몽골의 지식인들께서는 이태준 선생을 다 알고 계십니다. 그래서 저희가 이번에 기념관 신축을 계기로 해서 더 많은 홍보를 할 예정이고요. 또 실질적으로 몽골 국민들에게 이분의 업적이 따뜻하게 기억될 수 있도록 그렇게 노력하도록 하겠습니다.
And efforts to remember and honor Itejun continue in Korea as well. This is the Daeam Itejun Memorial Hall, located in his hometown of Haman, Gyeongsangnam-do Province. In front of the entrance, a mugunghwa, or hibiscus, which is Korea's national flower, is planted. It left a strong impression. Lee Tae-jun passed away in 1921, and marking the 100th anniversary of his death, this memorial hall opened in 2021. Here, we've been able to follow in the footsteps of his life. And we met with the chairperson of the foundation to learn more about what kind of work the organization is doing to honor and remember him.
예, 대암 선생 기념사업회는 구세 교육이나 또 국민들에게 독립의 어떤 강한 의지 또 여러 가지 교육적으로 필요한 목적이 많기 때문에 하고 있고 특히나 이곳에는 많은 학생들이 관람을 옵니다. 관람을 왔을 때 나라 사랑 정신을 또 일깨워주기도 하는 그런 곳입니다.
He says that the opening of the Daeam Lee Tae-jun Memorial Hall here in Haman is said to be a very meaningful event for the city as well.
정말 대암 선생님은 참 국가와 민족을 위해서나 또 몽골의 어떤 질병 치료를 위해서 굉장히 많은 공을 세웠는데 하만 사람이라고 하는 걸 알은 지가 얼마 안 됩니다. 옛날에 독립운동을 했던 분들이 많은 분들이 자기 가족에게 피해를 주지 않기 위해서 본적지를 옮긴 경우가 많습니다. 그래서 이분도 본적지가 딴 곳에 가 있음을 해가지고 그렇게 우리가 8년도에 이걸 대한기념사업회를 만드는데 한 7년도, 6년도까지 하만 사람이라고 생각지도 안 했어요. 대암 선생님이 하만 출신이라는 것을 하만의 자긍심을 알고 그렇게 열심히 하고 있습니다.
Over 110 years ago, Lee Tae-jun laid the foundation for ties between Korea and Mongolia. In 1990, the two countries officially established diplomatic relations, and in 2021, the relationship was elevated to a strategic partnership. And this year, 2025, marks the 35th anniversary of those diplomatic ties.
Nowadays, we are cooperating in very actively in some sectors. For example, in the mineral resource sectors, we have engaging very actively with Korean government. And other talk is the two governments have started the joint negotiations to conclude economic partnership agreement. And people-to-people relations since 2022, Mongolian government has decided to waive visa exemptions for tourist reasons.
And the ambassador mentioned one more area where he hopes to see greater cooperation between the two nations.
So I have started discussions with the Korean government, especially with the Minister of Health, to import Korean licensed medicines to Mongolia. Mongolia is really needs internationally certified and licensed medicines in order to treat our people. And another topic I already started to discuss with that is training 1,000 Mongolian medical doctors and professionals and technicians to be trained in Korean medical system and to work back in Mongolia, in Mongolian medical sector to help develop our system.
Over 110 years ago, Lee Tae-jun founded Dongi Uiguk Hospital in Mongolia, introducing modern medical practices for the Mongolian people. If Korea and Mongolia were to strengthen cooperation in the medical field today, wouldn't it be a way of continuing and building upon the legacy Lee Tae-jun left behind?
대암 선생님이 안 계셨으면 오늘 같은 이런 한몽 관계가 유대 있게 이렇게 깊은 관계로 되었겠느냐 그런 의아심도 가집니다. 그래서 대암 선생님이 만약 계셨더라면 이런 관계를 보고 정말로 환영했겠죠. 몽골하고 이렇게 우호 관계가 설린 관계가 되면 정말로 기뻐하고 있겠습니다.
Lee Tae-jun was both an independence activist for Korea's freedom and a humanitarian who saved countless Mongolian lives. Though 100 years have passed since his death, the values he embodied remain timeless. We hope Korea and Mongolia will continue to honor Lee Tae-jun's legacy and strengthen the bonds between the two nations by putting unwavering efforts. Perhaps this too is one of the things he would have wished for.